So hello. I see Tanya. Thank you for watching, Tanya. Hope everybody's day is going well. I'm going to go ahead and explain this painting. I have a tracer for it in the group here under the Files tab. If you want it, you can use it as a tracer or you can just use it as a reference photo, however you would like to use it. And I am going to put some radiating sunset light coming out from the cross for the sky up here. And then I'm going to do some mountains, and this is kind of the hill that the cross is on. There's a few flowers down here. So I'm going to start by showing you the paint colors I have out. I have a lot of them out because I don't know exactly which ones I'm going to use. So I have burnt umber, Hansa yellow, Naples yellow, cadmium orange, cadmium red medium. I have primary magenta, I have light blue permanent, and I have ultramarine blue and teal. So like I said, I'm not sure which all colors I'm going to use, but I know I'm going to use primary magenta in my sunset, and I know I'm going to use some Hansa yellow, and I'm probably going to use some Naples, and I'm going to start with the sky. So if you want to paint along, I actually find it easier myself to watch it first and then to paint, because it's really hard to keep up with all the different paint colors and paint mixing and everything that's going on the first time when you're just seeing it for the first time. But anyway, this is the cross of Jesus Christ. As you all know, it just is a beautiful reminder of the gift of Jesus' sacrifice so that we could be saved eternally. And I just am, as I'm mixing up some primary magenta and some Hansa yellow, I'd love to hear from you about your favorite songs that remind you of Jesus' gift for us of salvation on the cross. Or it can be anything that any song that you worship the Lord with that you really like. Like I can think of, hi Tammy, hi Paulette, hi Andrea. I am just wondering, any songs that you guys like, I'd love to get the title of it from you. And or if you have a few lyrics, like I'm thinking of Amazing Grace, that's just an oldie but a goodie for everything. I'm putting a little orange on my plate too, because who knows? Who knows? This is going to be a rather colorful sky. I think I might even put a little bit of this cadmium medium red on the plate as well. Just a smidge. Not going to need very much of that. Okay, now what I want to do here real quick is put on my white, because I definitely will need white. And I'm not going to put too much on at first because I don't want them to dry, and I'm actually going to give them just a little spritz of from my water bottle here. And like I said, I'm going to start with the sky. So I've got to move some of these paints away so I can actually get in here. I'm going to start with the sky, and I'm going to start with this yellow and this white. And I'm just going to make this real soft kind of glow around the cross. And I won't worry if I cover over the cross. Actually, I'm going to be real free about that and not let that worry me too much, because I can certainly see where it is, and I can come back and I can deal with it with brown. And there's a little fleck of something in there. The old rugged cross, of course. Yes, Paulette. Oh, I love that one. My dad loves that one too. My dad is now 92 years old. I think he's going to be 93. Goodness, this is terrible. I don't know if he's already 93 or if he is turning 93 in December, but my dad went to Grand Rapids School of Bible and Music. It was, he went there to become a pastor, and it had a lot of Dallas Theological Seminary professors there. It was a very good school, and he just has always loved the old rugged cross. They played it there a lot, apparently, and then when he was a pastor, they played it a lot at his little teeny tiny church called Bloomingdale Bible Church. Okay, I better hurry and pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm so busy reminiscing and talking about memories. Okay, so what I need to do is lighten it up even more around the cross. So I'm trying to really give like a bright halo effect here that's gonna turn into darker and darker colors as it moves away from the cross. So I'm just kind of putting more white on at this point. And okay, let's see, getting a little bit lighter, kind of that halo's coming into play. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and mix some of this primary magenta in with the colors that I already have on my plate. Oh, that's such a pretty color. Such a pretty color. And I'm just going to go ahead and put some of these right in the sky. Get that in there. And then let's come in with some, I'm going to come in with some Naples yellow, and we're just going to see what kind of effect we can get here and whether I like that Naples yellow or not. I'm going to add a little bit of white and just try to ease that up on the brightness just a smidge for now. And I'm already covering over my halo, but that's fine. I can come back and put that back in. So I'm just trying to give this radiating effect here. And I am doing this in my mixed media journal pad, which is not always easy with acrylics, actually. I actually prefer canvas now. It's easier to work with. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and dip my brush in my water just to see if I can't make that paint go just a tiny bit further. Okay, and now as I come in, I'm gonna grab some more of that yellow and white and just try to kind of ease that back into the sky. Taking it from the halo out. And I'm actually kind of really liking the effect of pulling it out in a few spots, but leaving that peachy color really shine through in some spots. All right, just trying to get some coverage going here. I'm gonna get a little bit more, I'm gonna need more white, obviously. Let's do that right now. I should have known. I never have enough white on my plate. It's never enough. What size is your paper in your book? I'm pretty sure this is 9.5 or whatever, 9 by 12. But I can look when I'm done. I can look on the cover. Okay, so now I'm gonna come back in with my white and my yellow and just kind of lighten that up again in a few places. And I'm kind of pulling it back towards the cross now. Back and forth. And this is really actually tricky with this mixed media paper. Kind of wish I had done this on canvas. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to take a little step back and just see what I've got. Let me try to get the edges. Okay, I'm going to go back in and add white with that yellow. I'm going to grab a little of that Naples yellow, just the tiniest bit of it. And now I'm just going to come in here and kind of gently pull up and out, away from the cross. And down too, can't forget to pull down. So grab a little bit more of that Naples yellow mixed with white and just kind of pull that in and across. Oops, okay. Let's do a little bit more. And let's lighten it up even a little smidge more, if I can. Down here is getting kind of dark. It was kind of a bright yellow, so I wanted to subdue that yellow a little bit. Okay, I'm actually okay if I go over the cross a little because I'm going to come in with that burnt umber and put that right over. So, okay, so there's just trying to get those lighter streaks just a little bit more pronounced. Okay, let me take a look. I think I'm gonna stop there for right now. Next, I'm gonna just try to get a little bit of that paint out before I put it in my water. My water gets so dirty so fast, so let's now rinse that brush real good. Actually, I might not need that brush. I'm going to, you know what? I need a different palette. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my handy dandy plastic palette, and I'm gonna get all my blues on here now. And the blues are, there's gonna be a little bit of blue at the bottom of the sky. There's gonna be a little bit of blue on each mountain. And let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and put some light blue on here right now. And I'm gonna put some, let's put a little teal on here too. I know I'm gonna use it at some point, I'm just not sure when. Okay, we've got our teal on here, and I've still got my other plate with all the other things. So let's see, now I wanna find, I think this brush will work just fine, actually. Alrighty, let's grab some of that white off of the other plate. And I'm gonna do a little bit of light blue, very light blue. That's really great. Okay, let's dampen that down just a smidgen here. Okay, I'm gonna kind of come along and just gently pull in some of this light blue sky down here. And I'll just kind of let it feather in to what I've got going on above. And I'll smooth out the transition better later. So let's get in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and give my eye a line, a little horizon line there. And I'm just gonna pull in a little bit of that blue. Okay. feather that in. Okay, like I said, I will come back and deal with that. While I've got blue on my brush, I am going to do a little red. Just the tiniest dot of red. And I'm going to pull that in with a little dot of this ultramarine blue and make a nice purple. And that purple is going to be my furthest back mountain. So I'm just going to pull that purple right across the furthest back mountains. And then let's fill it in a little, but I want to lighten it. I don't want it to be so purple. So I'm just going to pull some of that purple down in here. And this whole mountain is purple. Actually, I'm just going to go for it. I'm not going to care because I can always paint that other mountain below it how I want it when it's time. Okay, so there's that. Let's get into our, I need to squirt this already. Let's get into our purple again over here that I mixed. And let's pull this first little mountain on this side in here. Okay, so we've got our furthest back mountain. I'm going to come right over the cross because that brown will help that later. Okay, I'm just going to mix in that little blue that came off my brush. That's okay. That light blue actually is kind of pretty mixed with that purple. And we'll just let it be in there. If it wants to be, it can be. All right, so there's our first layer of mountains. Now I'm going to go in to my white and let's just see what we get when we just do that with a little bit of that light blue, maybe a tiny dot of that ultramarine. Okay, let's see what happens. When we come down here. And I kind of messed up when I said that the furthest back one is the darkest. What I meant was the purplest, probably would be a better way to word that. Actually, as I get up closer, these are going to get darker. So I need to darken some of these mountains right here. And so I'm just going to pull in a lot of that ultramarine blue right now just to give my eye the idea of where the darker mountain value will be. Okay, let's pull in a little bit more of that ultramarine and that white and that purple. Let's just mix it all together. Okay. And I missed a mountain right there. But that's okay. I can go back and fill it in. And as you can see, I'm not going to worry about going outside the lines. You can always go in and pop colors in to fix that later. So I'm going to lighten this up a little bit and just pop a little lighter color right there. Let's see. I think I'll pop a little bit of that lighter color right here and maybe even just a smidge right here. Okay, and then I need to dip into my darker color and just make sure that this mountain is nice and defined. Okay, now let's move into even darker, and I may have to pull out my brown. Let's see. I'm gonna just do, hopefully this brown didn't dry out. You know what? This totally dried out. Okay, so much for that one. Now I have a Nova color, a Nova one, so let's see if I can get just the tiniest bit of brown out of here. Actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna take the lid off. I'm just gonna do this because I don't need hardly any at all. I need to wipe this off. Okay, let's put our lid back on before I forget. Definitely don't want to tip that over. That is not cheap paint, that Nova. No, it is not cheap at all. Okay, I'm putting a little bit of brown in here to kind of desaturate that blue. And then I want this mountain to be the darkest of all of them. And again, I'm going to just cover over the cross because I really want to get coverage. And I'm just not wanting to mix more of that color right yet. I'm being lazy. Okay, so let's just make sure we've got that coverage that I want. Okay. I'm going to actually pull this mountain up a little bit to cover it even more. Okay, so we've got that. And then there are some even darker ones down here. So let's see if I can't mix it with more brown and just even a little darker. Right here. And let's see, maybe we'll even do just a little hint of a darker mountain right there. And then what I'm going to do with all of this is I'm going to make it super light. So I can see right here, I don't have very good coverage. So I'm going to go back to my ultramarine blue and white. And I'm going to pull in a little bit of that light blue. Let's see if I can't get that color that I had before. And you know, a lot of people will tell you, write it down. Write down the colors you're using, and I can totally see why. I'm going to go into my red and see if I can purple that up a little bit more. Okay, so it was just right here that I was kind of like not liking how that looked. So I'm just going to redo this whole mountain. Oh, wait. Ha! I messed up. Okay. Oh, well. That's what happens. It's real life. Okay, so I've got mountains that are just really not the way that I wanted them at all. So let's darken. I'm going to darken up the one above it. I'm going to pull some of that red in here. And I'm going to let it mix with everything on my brush. And I've got that color here going. I think I'll pull in. Just pulling in all sorts of different stripes. Okay, gotta grab some white here. I gotta lighten that up a bit. I'm gonna pretend that this mountain just keeps going here. Okay. I'm gonna turn my attention away from the mountains here for now. I'm gonna let that kind of dry, and the paint really just looks so different when it dries. It dries darker than it is. So that will help me know later where I have to go lighten up. But while I've got all these colors still on my plate, I'm gonna go ahead and pull in some of this, these yellows and these whites. I'm just gonna mix something up that makes this mountain that the cross is actually on, makes it really nice and fiery, bright, like it is reflecting the sky. Okay. And I'm gonna pull this down. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of, tiny bit of black. I'm gonna just use my craft paint. It's the way God wants it. You're doing well. Thank you, Tanya. I'm gonna put the tiniest drip of black and mix that with the yellow and see if I can't get that. That's craft paint black, so it's not making that beautiful green like the other paint did the other day when I did the tiny landscape. But it's a green that kind of works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just pull in a few spots. Set this plate down. Few spots of the green. So we're just gonna whisk in some grass, if you will, and let that green kind of come down in here. Just kind of letting it brush in here and there. As I get down here, I'm gonna let it kind of really fill in more. Let's go ahead and get my brush wet. And I'm gonna just let that just kind of just smooth up into that if I can. All right, so I'm kind of just trying to block in some colors at this point. I do want to, let's move back to this plate now. I do want to get a nice dark purple or even gray, maybe. It's a good way to put it. So let's see if I can get, oh, that's kind of pretty. I like that. And I kind of want to whisk a little bit of that in a few places too. And now I've got to get a little water on the old brush. And I'm just kind of swashing it around. Because I want this down here to be dark and kind of rocky. A little bit rocky. Okay, I need to mix more. So we'll go into our ultramarine blue. We'll go into our tiny bit of red. And our brown. It makes such a pretty color, I think. That's a little darker, but that's okay. Let me get a little water on my brush and pull it down here. And I'm not gonna go all the way to the bottom of this paper because it's just too much. Too much paint, too much work. And I can cut it off. I can literally, when I take a picture of it, I can cut it off I can crop it out. So now I've got my little bit of that pretty gray, rocky color. I'm just gonna kind of put it in a few places up here too. So just kind of like just kind of throw it around. And then I'm gonna really wash this brush. Oh, I lost my computer. Okay, hold on. Uh-oh. Well, that's odd. My computer totally dropped off. Uh-oh. Okay, I got it back. I am telling you, technology, it's just, sometimes it is not my friend. It just isn't my friend. Okay. I'm gonna do some more, kind of pull in some more of that magenta. I can't remember if I used red or magenta. I'm gonna pull in a little bit of that. Let's pull it with some of that yellow here. Let's bring it over here, and that's like way too bright. So let's get some white. Move that in there. And that's kind of pretty, actually. I'm gonna pop that in a few spots up here on the hill. I'm getting dinged. My computer's telling me that someone is texting me. So I'm just gonna pop this color in a few spots here. Some spots I want this lighter color, but some spots I really want that yellow without the bright pink. So let's pull in, oh, that's like too bright. Okay. So I'm just kind of playing to see how I want to pull that in. And I basically covered over my yellow quite a bit. And I didn't want to do that. So I'm gonna get more yellow. Let's pull it over here. I don't want that pink in there. I want that yellow. But I want some white with it. That's really bright, but that's pretty. Okay. And let's get back into that other color and just kind of put a few dashes of that around, splashes of it. And then I do want to let some of that hit down here in a few spots. And again, with this painting, I'm keeping it as loose as I can, blocking in colors. And then if I want to kind of blend, I will. So I'm actually gonna pull in, do I have enough yellow? Let's pull in a little bit of that yellow and pull that right in here. I don't want that blue to be so pronounced. I'm just gonna pull that right down and across. I'm gonna have to mix more. That's all there is to it. I'm just gonna have to mix some more. Didn't want to do that. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And I'm also gonna let this dry. And I've got flowers that I'm gonna be putting down. Actually, let's do the flowers now. Why not? I've got all these colors on my plate. So I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle in some of these flowers now. So I'm just gonna start by dotting it with this bright color. I think this is the primary magenta. Pretty sure it is. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to pull some down here into this darker color too. Since I've got this paint out already and I've got my brush already kind of in that color, I'm just going to go for it. Boy, it's getting hot in this little studio. We have the heat on today. All right, now let's see. I'm gonna go into my orange. I'm gonna kind of put that in a couple of spots. Smear it in a little bit with that red or that primary magenta, whatever that is. I can't remember what that is, honestly. Some of them, I'm gonna purposely make some of them more orange than others. So I'll keep some of them kind of on the redder side, and some of them I'll put a little bit more orange in there. Like this one's nice and orange right over here. So is this one. Make that one orange too. Okay, now I'm going to come in and I'm going to just get a little bit of that white and lighten it up. Just going to hit these flowers with a little glint of that lighter color. Now I'm pulling in some of that off my brush, and that's a pretty color. I like that color. Okay, let's see. I really do want some purple flowers too. So let's come over here And let's bring in some purple flowers. And I'm gonna lighten it. Make it more of a lavender, I think. Okay, and then let's sprinkle in some of these. Oops. Need to make sure I've got the side of the brush that has the purple on it. Here, let's mix that a little better. Mix it a little better. Okay, so we're going to put some of these purple ones in. And I'm really just hinting at flowers here. Really just hinting at them. Giving an impression of them. I don't know how close to the cross I want to get. But maybe I could put a couple. Just lightly. Just light. All right, I'm going to hit that with white now. I'm going to mix my white actually with that purple, and so that it's not so white, and just touch a few dots of that lighter color. And again, just trying to give an impression of flowers here. Okay, now I think I'm going to turn my attention back to the cross, finally. I'll put stems. Actually, let's do our stems first, okay? So I've got my black, I just gotta find my Hansa yellow. Okay, just get a little Hansa yellow out. Okay. And let's get that green mixed up. Oops. Oh, wow. Let's see. That's gonna be too dark, I think. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. That's actually kind of a nice green. And so I'm just gonna try to hint at stems for some of these flowers, and just little stems whisked around. So hopefully you can see that there. It's a very dark green mixed from that yellow and that black. And I'm kind of just punching it in here in a few spots. And hinting at stems. And I want to hint at leaves too. So let's get a little water on the old brush. And I'm just going to hint at some leaves coming off. And down here, let's pull in some more leaves. And again, I'm hinting at leaves here. And let's see. Okay, so I just was kind of hinting at some leaves there. Now I am going to go in and deal with the cross. So let's go back to this one, and I'm going to put that Nova brown. Let's see, I'm going to grab the end of my paintbrush, and just wipe some Nova Brown on there. It's not ideal, but I wasn't counting on my other burnt umber being completely dried up. Wasn't counting on that. No siree, Bobby Joe, I was not. Okay, let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and just pull in a dark brown right down here. And then pull it up again. Okay. I don't have the steadiest hand today. I can feel that it is kind of quivering. I had to run to the store this morning. I went to Costco, and where I live, that's a little bit of a drive. So I was rushing around knowing I had to go live at 2, and I was still at Costco at 1, and it took me 35 minutes to get home. I'm going to turn that around. I was rushing, so I didn't really have time to eat lunch. And breakfast was early this morning, so I'm a little bit blood sugary. Okay, so there's my nice solid brown cross. I think while I have my colors out, let's mix a little tiny hint of white. Let's see. Let's put a little orange in there. And I'm actually gonna kind of lighten that up a little bit. But actually, I don't want to make it, I don't want to completely cover all the brown. I want to try to give a sense of that wood. So I'm going to let that darker brown kind of peek through in a few spots, but I'm going to go into my black, and I'm going to pull that over here. And it's kind of mixing this, I guess you could call it a dark gray. Yeah, it was that orange and that brown is what it was. And now I'm just going to try to put a little shadow right there. And then a little shadow under here. And a little tiny shadow there, which did not work very well because my brush, here, let's get water on it. Okay. Good enough. And a little shadow under there, which you can totally see my hand is not steady. Not steady-itty at all. All right, let's see here. what do I want to do to this cross next? I want to embellish it with colors now, just in a few spots, like just fun hints of colors. And this is also where I can bring in some of that sunshine. That's really wet. I don't care for that. So I'm just gonna kind of come in here and mop that up a little bit. Okay. Now, let's get that brush back. Actually, let's wash it really, really good. And I kind of like the idea, where are all my blues? Okay, I kind of like the idea of maybe just touching it with some blues in a few places. All right, so I just throw in some turquoise on there. And I might even take some of that turquoise and just pull it down here in a few spots. Just to brighten up some of these leaves. And I'm just dotting it on, really. Kind of as if the leaves are reflecting what's going on in the sky or the mountains, maybe. I don't know. I just like turquoise. Turquoise is my favorite color. And if I had to guess, I would guess that that's also one of Tammy's favorite colors, because I think I've seen a lot of her thumbnail things that are in turquoise. Is that right, Tammy? Oh, and I lost my computer again. No, okay, there we go. So now, yeah, I've thrown in my little bit of turquoise. I'm just gonna put a little turquoise, like it's blades of grass down here. Also, just hitting it in a few spots. That was too many. So now I'm gonna just wipe it out with my fingers. Okay. And I'm just gonna take a little step back and figure out if there's anything else that I wanna do right here. That stripe of blue is kind of bothering me. Let's pull in, I think I'm gonna put a little more hands of yellow on my plate, just a little bit here. Not much at all, just this tiniest little pinch of hands of yellow. And I've still got my, Naples yellow and my white. Where's my Naples? Here's my Naples right here. So I'm gonna pull that Naples yellow in. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that hands of yellow in with the white. And that's kind of bright, too yellow. So let's pull more white in. Making it real creamy. And then I kind of want to just brush over that right by the cross again. Like the cross is literally has like rays emanating out. are just coming out from the cross. And I'm just covering over some of that blue. I'm just going to leave a hint of the blue, a very small hint of it. Okay, I'm just kind of laying down some more of that lighter sky color. And I can see that I've got a little hint of the sunlight on my mountain there, but that's okay. Now, I could add in some highlights and lowlights, you know, on the mountains to make them more pronounced, but I'm hungry, so I'm thinking I'm gonna wrap this up right here where it is, and if I wanna come back to it and add highlights later, I will. But I think what I would do is, when it's done, is I would crop it. I would crop the top off by about 1/2 inch, maybe 1/4 inch off each side, and a good 1/2 inch off the bottom. And then if I wanted to glue this on to a board or something, I could. But later, I think I'll come in and I'll add just touch some highlights on some of these mountains. But I'm calling it done for now. So I hope that you get a chance to try your own version of this and have fun with it. Play with your colors. Your colors don't have to be like you think that everything would be. And I would love to see a picture of whatever it is that you end up painting when you're able. So I think everything's dry, so I think I can touch my phone. Sometimes I've got super wet hands. All right, let's pull this phone down, actually, and I'll say goodbye in just a second. If I can think, there we go. There we go. Okay, I get to go eat my lunch now. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and have a very blessed weekend. And show me your crosses when you do your own. Tammy's done one in watercolor too, by the way. It should still be in the videos in our group, so go watch that one too. Okay, bye everybody. Thanks.